Hi there everyone, and I have a very exciting chess game to show you from the Hastings 1895 chess tournament. In this chess game with the white pieces we have David Janowski, and his opponent was the first official world chess champion Wilhelm Steinitz with the black pieces. So this chess game was played in the very famous, very strong Hastings tournament. But only for the records, David Janowski was in his 20s and Wilhelm Steinitz was almost 60 years old at this time. So Janowski starts the game with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and we have the Spanish game Morphy defense, bishop to a4, d6, and Janowski castled, knight to e7, bishop to b3, knight to a5, chasing the bishop, and then d4. E takes on d4, knight takes, and actually in this position Janowski played some inaccurate moves. We have c5 by Wilhelm Steinitz, and this was the correct move. In this position, instead of d4, Janowski should have considered something like, even though it looks awkward, but c3 I think in this position. But he played d4, and then knight takes on d4 is just losing a piece, because after c5 moving the knight and threatening basically to push the pawn and trapping the bishop. But you can see that after knight to f5 Steinitz needs to address this threat, because Janowski is threatening knight takes on d6, and Steinitz simply captures the knight with the wrong piece. Knight takes on f5. This was a grave error, said Hastings Pillsbury in his notes. He pointed out that Steinitz missed the better move, which wins a piece. So Hastings Pillsbury's notes are also available for this chess game. So which move was better? Instead of knight takes, bishop takes was basically winning a piece, because after e takes on f5, c4, and this is losing a piece. But what's wrong with knight takes knight? After e takes on f5, c4 doesn't work because of queen to e2 check, and white is winning a pawn, also forking the king and the pawn. So bishop takes on c4, and also saving the trapped bishop, and white is better in this position. So this is why knight takes was a mistake, because after e takes on f5, c4 doesn't work because of this. And bishop takes was better, because after e takes on f5, c4 is basically trapping the bishop. So if bishop to a4 check, b5 by the way, and now queen to e2 doesn't work, by the way, queen to e2 doesn't work, as black's knight on e7 is blocking the check. So knight to c3, capturing the bishop, knight back, rook over h5, bishop to f4. Okay, black still has to be careful, but basically black is a piece up, and that's a very big advantage. So okay, knight takes on f5 by Wilhelm Steinitz, a grave error, said Pillsbury in his notes. E takes on f5, and then simply knight takes on b3 with missing the opportunity. Rook to e1 by the young chess master Janowski, blocking with the bishop, and f6, a nice in-between pawn push, delayed gratification. Now this damaged black's kingside pawns and creating weakness. So black has to capture the pawn, the bishop is pinned, and then a takes on b3 with creating serious weakness in the king side. So d5, bishop to e6, developing a piece was better, but Steinitz played d5, queen to h5, the f pawn is pinned, plus looking at the d pawn with activating the queen, queen to d6, knight to c3, bishop to e6, developing and defending the d pawn, and knight to b5 by David Janowski. Very pretty, winning by force. After this, black has no resource. This was the quote of Hastings Pillsbury in his notes about this chess game, and indeed this move wins on the spot. Of course, This is attacking the queen, and capturing the knight is out of questions. This is going to drop the rook. So in this move is actually winning. So Wilhelm Steinitz is defending the queen, but Janowski played. Can you see the move? Rook takes on e6, and Janowski strikes with his rook. All of a sudden blow, the f-pawn is pinned. Queen takes knight by Steinitz, not queen takes rook, because of the family fork, knight to c7, and black is losing the queen and the chess game. So a hammer blow by Janowski, the rook is a berserker. So queen takes on b5, but bishop to h6. Now Janowski start to play very accurately, not just activating the bishop for the attack, but opening the rook and planning to double the rooks on the e-file and attacking the pinned bishop. Steinitz is in deep trouble in this position. Unpinning king to d8 and simply queen takes on f7 and dropping the f-pawn, attacking the bishop, forced, defending with the rook, not with the queen, and offering to exchange the queens, then queen to g7. Now white has enough time to double the rooks, and that's game over after doubling the rooks. So if queen to g8, simply capturing the bishop, and if rook over, then queen takes, rook over, and if rook over again, then rook takes, exclamation point, and if rook takes check, and bishop takes. So if queen takes rook, then queen takes rook. So this is also not going to work. So queen takes on f7, and Steinitz is in deep trouble. So defending with the rook, but simply doubling and defending this is impossible. So this is forced, retreating with the queen and defending. But then bishop to g7, exclamation point, threatening bishop takes. The bishop on e7 is pinned. If moving the bishop, then rook takes rook, and black must resign. So rook over and bishop takes on f6. Bishop takes, well, not rook to c7 because of rook takes, and black has to give up the queen, and black is losing the chess game. So after bishop takes on f6, desperate, bishop takes, queen takes, and king to c7, what else? Checking the king, and Wilhelm Steinitz resigned. Well, he is basically getting checkmated. There is no defense. There is only two possible continuations in this position. If blocking with the queen, it is going to end very quickly. A devastating defeat, a shocking defeat for the former world chess champion, for the famous chess player. So queen to e5, if king to d8, white has forced checkmate in 6 moves, just like this. Check, only move, check, check, and then basically black is getting checkmated by force. What an incredible epic chess game from the Hastings chess tournament from 1895, the strongest chess tournament of the 19th century of chess. And I hope you have enjoyed watching this chess game, and I hope to see you next time with more interactive chess games from the history of chess. Take care and bye bye.